everybody. Happy Thursday Eve. I'm gonna set the chat up real quick before we start talking too much. Okay. Happy baby then. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome. If this is not, welcome back. Let me see who's all in here this evening. Ooh, I definitely see some new names. I love this. I hope you're spreading the word. I hope you learned about this from someone else. I don't know, but I'm so excited to be here. If you're new, my name is Laura De Vega. I am the Director of Agency Development at World Via Travel Group. I'm going to give a few minutes to everyone to jump in, but I'm so glad everybody's here. Happy Thursday. I know I said that already. Sorry. I'm a little delulu today. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little tired. I'm a little, I very enviously, so I don't know where y'all are from. Feel free to pop it in the chat while we're waiting for some people to jump on. I know we have a good amount of people in here already, so feel free to start your messaging away. But I'm from northeastern Pennsylvania, like about 2 hours from New York City, 2 hours from Philadelphia, like in a good little sweet spot. And we have not seen the sun in what feels like 6 to 7 business months. But it's definitely been about a week. And today, like the clouds opened, it was beautiful. And I did not make a moment out of my door. And I'm like, I just so badly want to feel the sun on my face, but it's okay. Ooh, Fort Worth, Texas. I love that, Paul. I went from never being in Texas my whole life and was in Texas a bunch this year, all in Dallas. And loved it. But that was my first, like, I don't usually spend that much time there, but I'm going to be back there again a bunch next year. A lot of stuff happened in Texas, which I love. Ooh, another Fort Worth, Texas. Love it. And a Missouri. Amanda, I'm happy you're back. I have never been to Missouri. I have been to a lot of the United States. Another Kansas City. I'm assuming that's Kansas City, Missouri, right, Barb? That's where you're abbreviating. So I when I was younger, I during, like when people have like their college years, break years, things like that. I did a program called AmeriCorps. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Um, but and in that it's kind of like the Peace Corps, but within the United States, and you do community service projects all throughout the country. So I was very lucky, and I got to travel through many states during that process because you do a lot of driving rather than flying, because it is like a government funded program. And it was really incredible. So I got to see a lot of the United States and some really beautiful things. And also, I kind of make a point to always visit places in the United States. If you had been with me before my little break of weeks, and then I just came back, is because I went to Sedona, Arizona, and California, and I like to hop around. So I really love the US. I feel like the United States is so funny because like people from Europe will be like, "Oh, there's so much to see," and we're like, "I'm almost in my backyard, and I'm going other places." But oh, you missed a few, but that's okay. Listen, we are all crazy. It's crazy time. I have children, so we are amped up for. Okay, so and I'm just gonna address it before we get started. Look, I have a little spooky season sweatshirt on. Halloween is my Christmas. Just a warning. So like I have spooky little nails and I have a spooky little sweatshirt on. So I'm gonna kind of keep on this feeling for a little while. Okay, so yeah, Kansas City Metro Barb. Okay, Raytown. Cool. Oh, and look at Amanda makes her way there as well. Amanda, yeah, so Halloween is my Christmas. I love it. I decorate all out. Right now it looks like I should share a photo with you guys in the Facebook group. It looks like an octopus is breaking out of my home via inflatables. My husband loved putting that on the roof / out all our windows. But anywho, so it's about 5 after. So I'm going to do a quick intro for if it's your first time here. If it's not, bear with me for 5 seconds while I do my intro and kind of talk about why we're here, what we're doing, and like what's the idea going forward. So my name is Laura De Vega. I'm the Director of Agency Development here at World Via. I've been in the industry, I'm going on year 14. And well, actually, I'm in year 13, going on 14. I had started as a travel agent myself, owned my own agency for a while, ended up on the supplier wholesale side of the sector for a bit, sold for GoGo Vacations, which was a large wholesaler for 70 some years. Unfortunately, they shut their doors a few months ago. I was out of there before that happened, but really loved it. Worked on the business development team there, even ran the business development team towards the end of my time there. It was a really fabulous company, but what that has done for me is I've been able to see this industry from so many different sides, from your seats, from an owner's seats of like having employees, ICs, things of that nature, as well as from the supplier side. So I've like heard experienced your issues and also heard the issues from the other side. So it's really given me such a lovely full circle of this industry, but also what I have seen in meeting so many of you, because I used to meet thousands of you in a year when I was on the supplier side, is that there's just there isn't enough professional development that's out there. We have a lot of travel focused classes. We have a lot of um, developing like your travel skills and learning more about niches and things, but there isn't a lot of like business professional development specifically tailored to travel advisors and travel agency owners. And I'm really passionate about personal and professional development. So I thought I would come on here every Thursday evening and share a little bit with y'all. So I try to change the topics up every week. I try to focus the topics towards if you have ICs and employees, and if even if you don't. Just a warning on this week, it is a little more heavily focused on if you do have employees or ICs, but I am going to word the conversation for if you're ever thinking of having them and or kind of how you can work on this yourself. So I always try to craft the conversation so it makes sense. But I think there's a lot to be learned in this topic in general. So, and all the topics connect. Episodes are, oh, that's what I didn't do. Let me do that really quickly while I'm pulling the presentation up as well. There is a Facebook group, and I am guilty. I did not post the last 2 weeks' presentations in there. And so I'm going to take the big red X on myself today. I am very, very sorry. I'm going to get them up there this weekend. But we do post past episodes in there. There was a 3 week break for there. So if you don't see episodes before that and you're like, oh, only two, but they're all in there. You can watch, rewatch, so to take notes. You can share the group with your friends so they can see what's coming up. We do always, always post upcoming episodes in there so you know exactly what's coming. I just popped the Facebook group in the chat here, so if you want to join to see what's coming up. I'm also going to be taking some opinions on new topics going forward because we're narrowing down. I had about 16 topics starting out. I'm getting down in my topics. I've done quite a few of them, so I'd love to hear what you guys want to hear or if I should repeat topics. We've talked about goals, habits, building a financial structure for your business, navigating change, things like that. So we've really gotten to some different topics over the last few weeks. Also, I prefer an interactive conversation. So please, I keep the chat open the whole time. Ask me questions, interrupt me. I think it makes it for a much more interesting conversation. And also, I'll stay on for a little bit for questions at the end. So I am going to go ahead and just get my presentation up and ready here. So bear with me one moment. And if you don't know the topic this week, I'm trying to be on theme, like with travel, right? So I try to do like navigating turbulence and or the impact of bad leadership is kind of what we're getting, not kind of, is what we're getting into this week. But I think there is something important to talk about with this, is that it's not even just so much the leadership of like if you have a team leading, but also like setting yourself up to be a good leader and leading yourself. I think there's a lot to take from both of those topics, right? So I hope you can see the screen. I think you can. It's saying we're sharing now. But this is a topic that I am insanely passionate about because I would take a large guess that many people in this room right now have had an awful leader, a bad leader, a leader that made you want to like take your head in your hands and just go, why, what is happening? And I think a lot of who we become and even how we structure and run our business comes from our experience with bad leaders and the things we want to change in ourselves because of bad leaders. So there's a lot of it. I'm not going to focus so much on the negative, but I am going to talk about it first. So we kind of get into like what really I mean by that, and then kind of break down how you can better yourself and what it does to you and your business. So I'm just gonna pop this up here because I already kind of said it, but people don't leave bad jobs, they leave bad leaders. I joke around that I'm a lifer. I'm a leech with jobs. I will keep doing my job. I will keep doing my business. I think to my own horn, I think I'm a good worker. I really try to do what's best for the company and for who I work with. But I have had some leaders that I just there were days where you wake up in the morning, we all know it, right? You wake up in the morning and you go, I don't think I can do it today. And I think any of you that have been on with these people before, that is not my energy. My energy, I'm very golden retriever energy. I'm like, let's go, let's have a good time. And I know it in myself because I think you all know what a bad leader can do to you internally, even externally. But internally, it can feel like the weight of a 40-pound vest. It could feel like it's just not worth it. It can feel like I can't, why am I even bothering? And when I talk about this isn't just necessarily about your immediate leader, because right now you're running your own business, right? You are an agency owner. Um, but what I want you to remember is the way that you're leading and the way you're presenting your business and leading your business, whether you have ICs or not, also presents this way to people. Um, so, it's one of those things where you have to kind of like take a moment and think about one, how you're presenting yourself to a group, and also how you're presenting yourself to if you have ICs and if you want to have ICs in the future or employees in the future, because like that's the end goal, right? Like you should want a level of growth that can get you to a place where you can, right? Amanda, I'll talk to you after. We'll discuss. I just saw your comment in there. Um, so think about different things. I want you to think about a bad leader you had and what that did to you, how that made you feel. And like it's so funny because I truly believe when you think of that leader, immediately you go, oh, like your body just changes. You can't control it, it just kind of happens. And but I think in the opposite, when you think of a good leader, you're like, oh, and that was why. Like I will speak about a leader I had very quickly. She was a leader I had at my last company when I was with GoGo Vacations. Wonderful woman. And something I took from her is that regularly she would say, thank you so much. I know this was a crummy week, and I know we really like ate some stuff this week. And I just want to thank you for all of your hard work. And sometimes when you are doing so many terrible things, nothing means more than that little comment. Nothing. So, but let's get into this. Let's get into leadership as a whole. Um, I'll talk about this later. I am a big, I will stand by you need to lead and not manage, and you need to be led and not managed. And that even goes with your interpersonal relationships within being an advisor. If you have a mentor and you find this mentor is not leading you like the way that you Blanche, or what are you talking about? Are you talking about somebody that I should know? Question mark? Let me know. But like if you're somebody that's mentoring you and they're not leading you, they're just like, oh, they do this, do this, and it's barking orders at you. That's not the kind of mentor you want either. Oh, I thought you were. I had a feeling. So Blanche was not my leader, but I'll talk Blanche in a second. Hold on, let me get through this thought. Paul nailed it. Leadership is empowerment, right? So I've had scenarios in my life over years, but where I have said that person is not leading, they're managing, and they're managing them badly or managing them poorly. Because it's very easy just to tell someone something to do. It's much harder to be a leader and explain and ask questions to why they thought to do something the way they did, and help them learn from a mistake. If you've been on any of my these sessions in the past, I've said there's a quote, and I really need to look up who said this quote, but they said, I never mind being wrong because I know more than I did before. A manager isn't going to explain what you can learn from one of those moments. A leader is. A leader is going to go, what can we take from this? And I think it's even important in yourself that you should be making any mistake or issue and choosing it as a moment of empowerment and leading yourself, and that you can learn from it. But like, leadership is hard. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Some days you just don't want to lead. Sometimes you don't want to be led. You just want to do what you want to do. But I put some quotes in here, I think, that have some value, but the direction you steer is not only determined, not only in terms of the journey, but the destination. So when you're deciding how you're going to even lead your day or lead your team, it doesn't affect just today. It affects tomorrow. It affects next week. It affects 3 months from now. It affects next year. Because if you aren't taking initiative with yourself or with your team, say for the next 3 months, and then you're going to have a bad commission pull in say 6 months because you didn't stack yourself right now, those are the direct effects of not leading yourself or leading your team correctly. I mean, I had a mentor that just left me unread for weeks on end. Oh, or read with no response to help me. So I had to go around to that person and find someone else to team up with, and they helped each other. Well, one, I'm glad you found a person. It's funny, I was telling a member of my team today, I'm very thankful for who I've become as a leader, because I had someone with me along the way who's been like my champion. And when I was in those rooms where sometimes they don't want to hear you be a leader, I had them behind me, and I'll be endlessly forever thankful for that individual. And I'm still very lucky to work with that person today. And sometimes you need those people in the room. You need that extra person, because when you're reaching out for help and they're not helping, there's nothing worse for that. And again, so like I put the kind of ties to this next thing. The impact of leadership or lack thereof on an agency's success is both profound and multifaceted, because that person's lack of answering you and responding to you probably affected what you were doing that day, affected how you were presenting what you were putting out to the public that day unintentionally. That's not that you didn't want to be that way, but it changes your mindset when somebody doesn't speak to you the right way. They don't approach things the right way. It changes everything in your demeanor, to what you're putting out to the world, to the way you're responding to people, to the timeliness that you're responding to people. It affects everything from the ground up. I am very much a person that I have to start every meeting, every interaction I have someone, even if I already talked to them twice today, with, so how's your day going? How's everything? Because we all get so stuck in the like, all right, let's get to the work. And you're gonna lose yourself. You lose everything, and you lose your like want to keep doing the things when you lose the moment of humanity to things. So it's always incredibly important to me with my team. First, how was your weekend? Tell me what you did. What did you eat? Where did you go? And I always like to make a joke, because it's a reality. I'm like, I was a potato this weekend. That's all I did, and I loved every minute of it. So usually it's what I do. I like to sit home and read and kind of decompress from a busy week. I have a busy job, and I'm very thankful for it. But that's my moment to just kind of remove myself. But keeping humanity in moments when you're leading with people, or when you're meeting with colleagues that you're becoming your support team, is so incredibly important, because negativity is so toxic. And so, like Paul had said about leadership is empowerment, it's so important to make sure like the vibes are right, right? Like you said, your whole aura change, like making sure that positivity is there from the start sets the dynamic of the entire meeting, sets the dynamic of your entire staff, sets the entire dynamic of your whole agency. We used to have this joke. I worked for a company many years ago, a restaurant, and they would go, pick up your bucket of happiness when you walk in that door. And some days I do not want to, but I know I have to, because it's not just my days. It's not just my day that depends on it. And so I'm just always like, how are you? Let me make a joke. Let me lighten the room. Any meeting with me, if there's an awkward silence, I'm making a joke, whether someone wants that joke or not, because it just makes everyone breathe a little bit. Their shoulders go down. Oh, all right. Yeah, let's laugh about it. Usually it's like self-effacing. I know that, and it's easier to go that way, but you can do what you want with it. But it really affects, it has a profound effect on your entire business, on how you choose to lead and how you choose to, present yourself in your business. Excuse me. So some of the consequences of bad leadership, I wanted to talk about this, and we kind of already did, but employee morale. So if you don't have a vision for how your company is, if you're not empathetic to your employees, if you can't like make decisions, if you really, it's gonna kill the motivation of your team. Because what's gonna, and because you've been in these circles after, what they're gonna have to, oh, that was uncomfortable. Why was she like that? Like, why did he say that? Why was having I will preach empathy till I'm blue in the face. Empathy is something that not everyone has. I highly recommend that you work on being more empathetic. There's incredible books about the positive effects of emotional intelligence and what that does for yourself, for your business, and the people around you. I'll put that book. I haven't done a book rec in a minute, but I will put the Emotional Intelligence 2.0. It's a quick read. Highly recommend it. Just picking up on the cues of the people you're working around and who you're dealing with on the daily is going to affect decisions you make, and also, again, the trajectory of your business, because it's not just going to help with employees, but being more empathetic is that makes you better for your clients. It helps you hear things that they're saying, what they're not saying. Like they're like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do that. It's not really my thing. Like picking up on cues, social cues is incredibly important when you're in a sales job, especially like what we're in, because we're building dreams, right? We're selling luxury vacations. We're not selling insurance. We're not selling pet rocks. People buy pet rocks. My 9-year-old does. Tries to buy a new one every time we go to Hallmark. I don't know if you know what Hallmark is, but it's like a novelty store. Like people will buy those things, but we are selling real experiences. And so empathy, especially because for some of these individuals, this might be their one trip every 2 years. So don't you want to make that experience what they need it to be, what they've been dreaming about? And empathy will help that. And then just to kind of go back on the decisiveness, like it's just, oh, I put that quote in there twice. Sorry, guys. But it's just know that it's so incredibly important. And also the fallout of all this is very I put like it's very tangible, but when people start to feel these negative effects, the immediate productivity plummet is crazy. So like, because they're gonna go, oh, well, they don't care. They don't care if I do what I'm not supposed to do. Like, and especially if you run into something where somebody goes to you for looking for some empathy. Let's be real. And you kind of just brush off, and they're like, well, they don't care about me. They don't care about what I'm working on. They don't care about this. So why do I care to help them? And with ICs, employees are different, right? So ICs, there's no, you can't just tell them what to do. You cannot say you have to book this, you have to do this thing. So it's really a show of care and a show of knowledge to say, hey, I think you would do better if you booked this, and let me explain to you why. A manager would say, just book this, even if they shouldn't. They're like, oh, well, I would book this, and they'd move on. A leader would explain the benefits of booking that product over a different product, why you should off-sell or upsell to that product, and what it's going to do for them in the long haul and for their clients, right? So it's like taking those 3 to 4 extra steps sometimes, but it's going to save you a world of benefit in the long haul. And then I already mentioned this, but like it says, like a once vibrant workplace becomes a sea of disengaged employees. I used a lot of sea analogies in this one, guys. I was going for a theme. I realize I've overdone it already. but what I mean by that is you've been in that room, right, where the leader makes a weird comment. And like I said, we've all been in those circles where I'm like, ooh, and you don't even want it to affect you, but it does. So employee morale is huge. If you have positive employees, you have a positive environment. You have an environment that your clients want to come to. You have clients that your clients want to come back to, and they want to refer their friends to. So what wouldn't you so much rather if your clients are like, oh, I love booking with Amanda, because when I give her a call, she's having a blast. So this isn't even just like leadership. It's like also like what you lead in yourself. It's like she's just so, so lovely to hear from. I love speaking with Paul. He's so genuinely like excited to talk about my trips. Like things like that make such a huge difference in your book of business and your referrals and really building out your business. And again, this goes hand in hand to client relationships. I like kind of connected these, but clients are paying attention. Like I put here that they're intuitive, but they're about to give you a whole lot of money. Let's not pretend that we're selling $10 calculators. You're getting thousands of their dollars. They're paying attention. They're picking up on cues. So if you're not paying attention to the empathy or on emotional cues, they are. So if you're being a bad leader, or there is somebody that's being a bad leader around you and it's affecting you, they're going to see it. They're going to notice right away. And they're going to be timid because when people are uncomfortable, money makes people uncomfortable. And so they want to feel confident in handing over money. So if you don't seem confident, they're going to question themselves. It's going to take a whole lot longer to close that deal. Even if they're returns, like even if they're your refer or your repeat customers, like we're not, again, these are thousands of dollars. And I put this, I'm already ahead of myself, but like they're looking for confidence. They want this to be a smooth, comfortable process. When someone's looking to go to Vietnam and Cambodia and you look angry even talking about it, they're like, I don't even know what I'm doing in this country. And she doesn't seem like she wants to talk about it. What am I going to do? Like, it's going to leave a lot of uncertainty to them. And they're probably going to go ask for a second opinion somewhere else. You don't want that. So, and it's directly influenced by leadership. Now, and again, all of what I just said leads to an overall financial underperformance for your business. So if morale is down, if your employees and ICs don't like the vibes, like to put it that way, if you don't like the vibes yourself, if you're not comfortable in yourself, you're going to see a decrease in sales. You're going to see a decrease of motivation in your sales. It's also going to tarnish the heck out of your brand. And when you are if you're just in your early stages and trying to build yourself and become bigger, better, best, like I always say, don't put yourself in a position where you're already starting off with one shoe off, right? Like this is not the way you want to get started. So making sure you're cognizant of the way you're presenting yourself, the way your business is being presented, the way your ICs or employees are being presenting your business. Now, food for thought. If you have employees, you can have a little bit more of a stance with this. Hey guys, I want a positive environment. Let's set some goals. Let's set some directions. You could be cheesy like me and like read some affirmations in the morning. Do what makes the most sense for you. If you're not an affirmation person, I'm not trying to make you one. But what I am trying to do is make you comfortable in like preaching a level of positivity to the people you're working with or the people that are helping you, even if it's just, like I said, your mentors, your group of other advisors that you work with. I said this last week. I think I'll continue to say it because I feel really good about the statement, and I feel this way. I got to see Ryan Reynolds speak a few weeks ago, and he said, joy is a commodity that we are so lucky that we're able to distribute, right? And it's something that there is no value on how good joy is. And good leadership comes from a joyful stance. It doesn't have to be. If you don't exude joy, I'm not telling you have to become the character Joy from the Disney movie Inside Out, right? But I am saying a positivity is also a version of joy and something that you have to make an active choice. I've had this conversation with my husband before, and sometimes he's like, "Ugh," and I go, I have to make a decision every morning to become this person because, oh, do I love a cold, dark hole with a book. Like when I have to make a choice, I have to be this person. But it's also for me. It's not just for my people I'm around me and the people I'm leading. It's for me because when I make this choice first, I know my whole day is going to be better. It just is. So, here's some strategies to kind of get you towards success, right? And this is with you. Again, I'm going to try and word all this to you, two if you have employees or ICs. If not, like I'm trying to make this a full circle conversation. But if you have employees or ICs, like these are your steps just to kind of get you right there. So foster open communication. Okay. What do I mean by that? One, a positive leader, a good leader, make sure that your staff or your ICs are comfortable coming to you with feedback. That means you have to be able to take negative feedback as well. I say to the people that I work with and people that work below me on a regular basis, if I'm wrong, I need you to tell me I'm wrong. I will never be offended. I will learn from it. You have to be willing to learn from it and adjust yourself, or you're never going to get better. And they're never going to trust that they can. And if they don't trust that, if they're not comfortable, they're not going to tell you when they messed up a booking that could respectfully cost you thousands of dollars, but they're not going to tell you because they're afraid. So I always do this in a minute. Like when I mess up, I'm the first one to admit it so that they are feeling comfortable doing that themselves. And that's among your friends too, or your colleagues that you are maybe have this group with, because you can say with them, oh, I messed up. I messed up. I messed up. And so they're going to feel comfortable telling you how they dealt with it and getting you out of that space. And sometimes you can get in with a bad group of other advisors. You don't intentionally mean it, but sometimes there's like a kind of like a superiority complex that happens. And don't stay away from that. There's some people that think they can do no wrong, and that is not true. Everybody can do some wrong, even the best of the best. Great point. So Amanda said there's always room for growth. Not everybody learns the same way. It's so true. So you have to give the space for people to like make mistakes, feel comfortable making mistakes, and then they feel like they can. Something that we talk about with the host agency I work with, but just in general in our building, we talk about a theory, and it's from a book called Principles by Ray Dalio, and it's radical truth and radical transparency. So that means you have to be accountable for being 100% truthful even when you mess up, and being 100% transparent about things that are going on in the business. So that puts you in a space where you can't really hide a lot. But the honesty in that puts you in a place of comfort with the people you're working with your colleagues that you work around, your mentors. So sometimes you have to be like, listen, I don't know if I did this right, but like, this is what I did. Are we good? And also when you mess up, like I tried to do something here, it did not go the way I wanted it to. And I will tell you, radical truth and radical transparency is a really difficult thing to do with yourself. And I struggle with it constantly because it's hard for the little person in you not to go, but I don't want to say that I messed it up. It's so hard to admit when you mess something up. I just did it last week and I was like, it was me. It stinks. But having that kind of open communication puts your staff or your ICs or your colleagues in a more comfortable position to be open with you, and it makes a better working community. Invest in professional development. You're already doing that being here, but also I dare say you take the extra investments and look into other options, whether it's reading a book, whether it's getting some mentors for yourself. It's encouraging your staff or ICs to do the same. And I'm a big person on leading by example. So if you're doing it, they're going to take note. The reason I do it is I watch somebody else do it. And I'm very proud to say that my leader does a lot with professional development. And this is before I even came to this company. And I love that we're on the same page with that, and we're always about growing ourselves and being better and bigger. And I think it's incredibly important. I mean, and Amanda just brought up a good point, Audible books. I don't actually always physically read professional and personal developments. I actually like to listen to them. And I find a lot in the professional and personal development books that you can get on Audible. There's a lot of side notes from the author that I really like. I actually listened to the Principles book by Ray Dalio. It's because it's a hefty, I have it sitting right here. Actually, I'll just show you. And I'll put it, I have two books. So I'll have to put emotional intelligence in for you guys. I'm going to put this one in. She's a big book. She's a big book. She's got a little dust on her. Sorry. I read her a while ago. But it was really interesting to listen to. Energy Bus, Anthony. I love that book. I read that years ago. Also a great one. I'll pop that in as well. And that's the same idea. It's like choosing your energy, right? If I remember that one correctly, great book. There's a lot of great books that about kind of in personal and professional development that you can kind of choose where like it's your mindset. Atomic Habits. I know I brought that one up. Ooh, I love Don't Be an Energy Vampire, even though it is vampire season, but I do love that. I brought up Atomic Habits. That's a great like building the right mind space for that. There's another really good one. I'll try and think of some of them, but there's some excellent personal and professional development books that when you can listen to. Girl Stop Apologizing. Rachel Hall says some great stuff. Anything by Mel Robbins is excellent. She does the 5-second rule and the high five. Habit, 5 Habit, I think it's called. There's some great ones, but it's just one, it switches your mindset and how you're thinking and how you're leading, and it will also help your employees change their head system. And some of the smaller ones, especially like the Mel Robbins, the Rachel Hollis, the even oh my goodness, the Energy Bus, they're smaller, they're a little more digestible, so you're not just like listening to something super super long. Well, I listen to German to Read. It's a Brene Brown one. That's a great one also. um so there's a lot of excellent material out there, and I know, but there's a cost to that. But you can also go to your local library where it's free. I'm always a proponent, I never want to put cost on anybody. There's also almost all of these authors have podcasts where they break down their topics. So in podcasts you can listen to for free on different services. So that, like, look into I haven't read that one yet. Look into different options to listen to this content for free. And there's a ton of professional development in the podcast world. So I highly recommend you kind of look into that. And now I talked about leading with empathy. I'm going to bring it up constantly. Knowing the needs and concerns of the people you're working with before you have a conversation with them is incredibly important. Knowing things that are going on in their life and keeping those things into consideration when you're having conversations is going to save you worlds of trouble in the future. And also keep this in mind with your clients. If you know there's accommodations that your clients need when you're having conversations with them, this is leading yourself well. This is going, okay, I know I need to be 6 steps ahead here and do this for them because it's going to help them. Leading with empathy is so important. Again, till blue in the face, emotional intelligence, emotional intelligence, emotional intelligence. There is something to be said about picking up on the cues on someone else. I will walk into a conversation and very quickly go, oh, I know how this is going to go. And I'll adjust my conversation accordingly. And what I've done since I've been cognizant of that is I do that even in my like leadership moments. Like when I'm teaching like this, if I can tell the conversation in the room is adjusting, I adjust what I'm teaching because I feel off what I'm hearing in the room and make those accommodations. That's not something it's not an easy thing to pick up immediately, but you will get there. And it's something that you have to practice and almost take a step back from yourself and listen to your surroundings to make those adjustments. It's being an active listener. Sometimes we're so caught up in, wanting to listen, but we're so excited to say the next statement, we aren't paying attention to what they're saying. So taking a minute and actually actively listen will affect your empathy in your conversation worlds. And when the person you're speaking with, whether it's your IC, your employee, your client, hears that you listened, it changes again, their shoulders down, their demeanor changes. Oh, she heard me. Oh, he heard me. Like that changes the way that they trust you, the way they believe you're going to listen and you're going to care for them when you're booking for them or when you're making decisions for them as their leader. So those are a couple. 2 more. Set clear goals. How many times have I talked about goals in the last 12 weeks? I haven't done 12 sessions, but so -3, I've done about what? I think I've done 9, maybe 8. I don't know. Goals, goals, goals. We are setting goals in my business. I am setting goals for myself. I set goals every day, but they got to be clear. We're running into this even in my own company. Leaders even struggle to set clear goals. SMART goals. What do SMART goals mean? Specific, measurable, attainable, relative, timely. So make sure you are down to the detail, not a vague goal. Make sure they are measurable so you know when you hit it. Achievable. Make sure it's not like, I'm gonna make $5 million this year and you just booked your first booking. Relevant. Make sure it makes sense for your business. And timely. Make sure there's a timestamp so you know when it's finished. That's what a SMART goal stands for. But it's just really important to have a direction for you and your team to be setting SMART goals regularly. We do it within our business. I do it in my daily life. Like Amanda said, write them down or they're just a dream. It's so true. I write down goals every single day. I feel like I have to show this every time, but so people believe me. But every single day, I write it in this book. I'm not going to show the brand because that's not fair. Like I'm not supposed to be selling it. Oh, you can't see it. Is this a blank page? Good. But I write my big goals. I write the steps to get to the big goals. And I write what I'm going to do every day to get to those goals. And you can see I do fill it in. I'm not lying. I don't want you to see it, but you know what I'm saying? Like I write them every day. So important things to do. And because it's not magic, I'm not a witch. Okay. I mean, it's movie season. Sometimes I like to be not a witch. It is because I'm writing it down, I'm focusing on it, and it's top of mind. And when you do that, it makes it relevant to your business and your daily life. And it will do the same for your employees. And if they see you setting goals, they're going to want to set goals. Because once you start to hit a goal, once you hit a single little goal, you're like, ooh, that felt good. And then we're going to keep doing it. Celebrate successes. This, and I know it's my golden retriever energy, is a lost art and it shouldn't be. I celebrate the dumbest of things. When my employee finds something that I couldn't find, I'm like, yes, thank you. You just saved my life. You're my hero. I even said today, so I go, you are my hero. And she goes, I wish I could be a hero for such minimal work all the time. I go, you are my book. Thank you. Because it's hard not to feel joyful and want to respect and help a person that is celebrating your every little win. Celebrate your own too. Let's be clear. I booked a transfer today. Woo! It's extra money. I got someone to answer the phone today. Yes, I've been calling her 5 times. I put on pants today. Listen, it could be little things, but you have to celebrate all the wins because then the big wins feel really good. It's just the truth. I write down in the back of my goals book. So when I write down my goals and the steps to get to the goals, anything that I accomplish in my steps to get to my big goals, I write it in like a kind. I've checked my emails. Great one, Amanda. I didn't even share myself there. I have a clear inbox. Never gonna happen. Things like that. But I write, it's like my little brag book at the back of the things I've hit. And so my book is it's 100 days that I write it every single day. By the end of the 100 days, when you're first starting to write things down, you're like, oh, there's one thing in there. But all of a sudden, by the end of that 100 days, the amount of goals that I have hit feels so good. And what that does for me and what that will do for you and the same effects that it'll have on your employees, one, it'll change your mindset. And then they're going to see you hitting your goals and it's going to change their mindset. And they're going to want to be positive and they're going to want to work better for you. Just saying. And it doesn't, celebrating goals also doesn't mean gifts. I feel like that's a weird misconception. Like, oh, we have to celebrate. No, it's just like shouting from the rooftops. Did you see what she did today? Did you see? It's my girl. She did that. It's my guy. Thank you. Just making sure it's known. I think it feels really good to have someone else speak to your goals because like it feels like one thing when you do it, but when somebody recognizes it, God, it feels good. It does. It feels really good. So do that for somebody else. Be that person. Be the leader. Because no one is going to do it if you don't. I'm just being honest. There might be somebody, but it shouldn't be. It should be you. If you want to be the leader, you should do it first. We work in Teams, Microsoft Teams. And when I see something that needs to be celebrated, I'm like, yes, I want to be the first. Very important to be the first. Other people will do it. Pretend that they won't. Be the leader. Oh, it's a Facebook status when I need to celebrate. I love that. I love it. Listen, whatever way you need to celebrate, you have to do it. My kids, when they come home, they're like, I am always like, yes, yes. Like, I'm just, I want to give the energy I want them to give to their friends and to people around them. And you should have the same for your employees and ICs. Starting a new course. So I want to read this little paragraph here because I feel like there's some value to it. So like the role of a leader in a travel agency extends far beyond managing day-to-day operations. It's about inspiring your team. A little cheers here and there. Delighting your clients, because it is your energy is what's leading yourself to be better for your clients is huge. And steering your agency towards success. Recognizing the impact of leadership takes proactive steps to improve, and you can navigate your agency through turbulence and smoother skies. Again, I went a little crazy with the analogies, but when you are positive, when you're choosing this kind of energy, when you're putting out this kind of leadership, when hard times come, and boy, will they, you're going to have a team that wants to be behind you to help you rather than you're floundering on your own. And you're also going to have the headspace to know you can get through it. because you've taken the steps to be a good leader. You've led yourself to be a good leader. You've led your business in the correct direction to make the right decisions. Does that make sense? It's going to help you worlds making the active choice to be a good leader. I said this earlier. Forgot I put it in here. I don't think I forgot. I kind of knew. Be a leader, not a manager. Being an effective leader is not just about like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't mess up here. It's about really like finding the potential, finding the little wins within your agency. And that is as simple as knowing what you can sell, knowing your profit drivers. Like, but also like if you have a superstar and she's just nervous about something, he just doesn't, he's afraid to book something, help them. Say, what can I do for you? I always, and you guys, if you've been on here the last, I say, we always do what went well, what didn't go well, what can we do better? Something I talk about pretty frequently. And I think that a really good habit as a leader to get in with your team is asking them on every sale. And it doesn't have to be, listen, especially if they're ICs, that's not your responsibility. But I would say like a monthly check-in if they're ICs, weekly check-in if you have the time. Hey, how'd everything go this week? Did you struggle with anything? Especially if they're just starting out. Did anyone, is there anything that I can help with? Just asking those questions and knowing that they're capable of having someone ask those questions is huge. But I ask all the time. More often than not, I get, no, everything's good. But every once in a while, I get you know what? This came up today. Let's talk through it. And I also think being a leader isn't necessarily just giving them the answer because you actually might not, one, know it. Two, you might not have the best response. But how I always react to those moments, I go, okay, so how did you handle it? And do you think you could have handled it better? And like, where were you unsure? So then you can kind of maneuver the muddy water of like, what makes sense? What did we properly help the client? And what could we have done better? Because listen, no one's perfect. You're not going to get everything perfect, but it's learning from the experience. And that's what's important. And that's being a leader, not a manager. A manager will go, what happened here? Don't do it again. Or a manager would just not even check in with the ICs. Oh, they're booking. I don't know. They book sometimes. I don't know. I don't really talk to them. Something I know a lot of the agency owners that I speak with on the regular do, like I said, they do a monthly check-in. They also do a monthly training. So it might be bi-weekly. They'll do like one like little big check-in with everyone that they have underneath them, and then they do one that's focused on training. Because that shows an attention to the ICs, shows that you want to be involved in their active development. And it shows you as a leader who is interested in attending. Because it can't be mandatory, but you're going to notice who shows up and who doesn't. And that will help you, depending on how your business works. Maybe you don't give them as many referrals. Maybe you don't recommend them for fan trips. Whatever, I don't know. It's whatever makes sense for you and your business. But you can get a good gauge of who wants to work with you and what's going on in your business by doing monthly check-ins, bi-weekly check-ins, and set yourself up for success. It's an opportunity to transform challenges into triumphs and set your agency on a course for success. I really love the word success in that paragraph. I'm sorry, but it's true. 3 proactive steps will save you worlds of headache in the long haul. So making sure you're taking the right steps for your ICs or employees, making sure you're setting them up, like I said, meetings, making sure they have the trainings, making sure there's never a point where they go, well, you didn't tell me this. You didn't help me with this. And then you lose that IC and they go somewhere else. Well, I wasn't getting any guidance. More often than not, an IC isn't going out on their own, is because they're looking for guidance. They don't know how to do it on their own. They don't want to do it on their own. They want some sort of assistance. So if you're not checking in with them and having those conversations, you're not helping them. And an unfortunate reality, which people don't like to hear, is sometimes an IC outgrows you. And that's not a bad thing. Now, if they leave you, it's one thing. But if you have grown them to a point where they're like, I want to do this on my own, you can't be mad about that. I see a lot of bitterness about this in the industry. You can't. Because you got them to a place where they're comfortable and confident in themselves to do it on their own. You have to bless and release, as I like to say. And listen, you're going to find people that never want to do that. And they're very comfortable in a group setting. But some people, it's not what they're here for. They're here to grow their business. And that's what you can be for people. I think an opportunity that gets lost on a lot of individuals is being the leader to help people become the better person. Everyone sometimes I want ICs to make more money. And don't get me wrong, we all love money. I'm not saying you shouldn't love money. But there is a value in knowing that you can grow people and continue to grow people and help them on that journey. And that will kick back to you in ways that you can never really, there's no value, like there's no dollar amount you can put on it. Being a growth source for people. And maybe that's what you become. Maybe you become a person who just trains and assists people getting through their process. Maybe that's your silver line. That's what gets you through. Maybe it's not booking anymore. It's helping people. You don't know, and you're not going to know until you try. So just setting yourself up properly. And I just really like this quote: leadership is a journey. Each one of us has to, I wrote take wrong. Ugh. Everyone has to take our own path and get there our own way. What I mean by that is take what you can from what I talked about today, leave what you hated. Don't assume because I am just screaming my positive energy that that's how you have to approach this. But I think there's some really healthy and wonderful ways that you can approach leadership that will help you. It will help your agency. And if you're not in a space right now where you have ICs or advisors, but you are looking to, this is a way you also need to approach your onboarding with them. When you're starting to look at who could be a part of your business, who do you want to work with? Remember to put this energy out. And when you're speaking with them, say, hey, this is a big step. I want to move in this direction, but I want to make sure you're on the same level I am. This is what I want to put out into the world. These are the goals I like to set. Are you here? Are you going to match that kind of energy? And I see you cannot tell them what to do, but you sure as heck can set standards and say, this is the kind of what I like to put out into the world. This is my business. I'd love for you to match that kind of energy. Is this what you want to get involved in? And if they don't, maybe they're not the right choice for you right now, and that's okay. And also remember that in taking what makes sense for you out of this, you're going to craft some good version of leadership for yourself. The fact that you sat through this and listened to this and you're taking pieces is going to help you enough. And it's also the fact that you're even listening, you're cognizant of wanting to be a good leader. So because you even have that mindset, so I know you're going to be just fine, but don't overthink it. Don't think that you have to do everything somebody else is doing. But even if you take one piece from it, like just make sure you're actively choosing to be a leader and not a manager. It's very easy to slip into being a manager and it's harder to lead, but it's so much more rewarding. So, and that's it. I'm going to pop up. I ended a little early today. I'm very proud of myself. Pop up to thank you. My email is on there. If you ever have any questions or you want to reach out to me, please feel free to do so. If you have any questions right now, pop them in the chat. I'll hang out for a bit after and kind of talk through it. No, we have lots of really great content coming up in the next few weeks. I think we get off of the like a team topic for a minute, maybe not the next one, but one after. And we have some really great topics coming up. They all really tie into each other. You've noticed if you've been here, there's been a lot of talk about goals, a lot of talk about habits, because it's all very relevant to growing and building your business. And I just want to make sure you have all the tools to do that. And I hope you enjoyed the content today. I hope it made sense. I hope I wasn't too preachy with my like, gotta throw out the positivity, but I think it's incredibly important. I am going to take some of these books we talked about and pop them into the Facebook groups. Oh, good. Lots of notes. I love lots of notes. Oh my God. Can I tell you a fun story about notes and goals while we are, I'm writing down these books that I want to mention to everybody. I want to talk about principles and Atomic Habits. I already popped Atomic Habits in there a little while ago, but I will pop it up there again. So we are setting goals within my agency, my host agency, for the last quarter of the year. And I am such a little bunk, and I write all my things in a notebook. I was like, I wrote my goals, I'm so good. And they're like, Laura, where are your goals? I never put them in the document. Never did it. I was like, the girl who loves goals never told anybody her goals because I had to write it with my little pen and paper. But I'm a very much a pen and paper note person. With the energy bus, I want to remember that one. The Power of, oh, I missed you saying The Power of One by Ed Milet. I love Ed Milet, Anthony. He's a great, great speaker. The Power of One. Who else do we have here? Determined to Lead. Great one. Anybody else have any good personal or professional development books you want to pop in there? Girls So Angels. I want to pop it in here because I don't want to lose the chat. If you don't have anything else or you don't have any questions, feel free to drop off. You don't have to sit on here any longer. I really am thankful that you guys stop in and spend Thursday evenings with me. I truly, some days, days are long. I start early. And I'm like, oh, I'm so tired today. And I'm like, am I going to be able to do it? And then I get on here and I just get so excited because I truly do love talking about this. I love putting out this kind of positivity and good energy to all of you as you're building your business or doing through different stages of your business. And I'm so glad that you guys take the time to listen to me and learn and take that step towards growth for yourself and your business. I think it's Think and Grow Rich. That's another good one. Thinking of things. So just think, I just want to thank you. And I know it's an off time. I know it's not for, East Coasters, we're a little late in the evening, but I really do enjoy this time. And I hope I see you in weeks to come. If you don't have any questions, feel free to drop off. I'm going to hang for another minute or two before I cut the call. But I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I hope you do all the fall things. We have a fun thing so I, again, told you Northeastern Pennsylvania. And I live about 45 minutes from the Jim Thorpe area. And I have a very good friend who lives there. And this weekend is called the Shower of Roses Festival. And I don't know what that means, other than I guess years ago they used to dump thousands of roses into this park, but now it's just like an excuse for a lovely little cookout situation at a church. But I go every year and it's a lot of fun. But I hope, oh, no, I know you guys don't need to see my presentation mode. Did it stop sharing? Maybe it did. I did not stop sharing. You're just seeing my presentation mode. There we go. Oh, thank you, Paul. I hope you enjoy my energy, and I really want to help in any way I can. And leaders eat last. Another good one, Anthony. I'm trying to, I think I get more amped up the more I start talking. So I really appreciate you guys interacting. It makes this so much more enjoyable. Thank you, Anthony. Good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. This is a blast. So let's see. While people are hanging out here, do I have the episodes so I can tell you what's next? Let's see. Usually I do. Do I not today? I can't believe it. Usually I have it sitting here. Want to know why? Because I may think I'm a good leader, but I'm not super organized and I never close documents. Oh, Kim, you're new to here and your presentation was, oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that, Kim. Please come back. I'd love to see you more and see if some other topics are helpful to you. Let's see. I got a teaser for you, Anthony. Let's see. Next week. So this is good. So next week is how to properly organize training for your employees or ICs, but also for yourself. So this is training based, which I love. It's called Training Triumph Effective Development. So I think this will be good. And a lot of what the books we talked about is actually might come into play in this. Some of the other topics coming up, we have charting your course. I'm excited about this one. Crafting a winning marketing strategy. I think that'll be really good. Leading through change. So navigating industry disruption. That's going to be a fabulous one. I know it because I've lived through it. And I think that's a good one that everyone can do. Strategic business planning is coming up. That's always a fun one. Not for everybody. Not everyone likes to talk business, but it's a good one. Effortless networking. I'm excited about this one. This one I've never taught before, but I'm excited. I've been researching it a bit, and it's strategies for quiet achievers or like for introverts, because I am clearly not one, but I know people are. So Amanda, I'm going to take that offline with you. But I can tell you our activation fee for World Via is currently back in place, but we can have a conversation. What else is going to be? Embracing delegation, letting go of control. That's a top one. Building alliances for growth. That's coming up. Networking and collaboration. That one's important to me because I was on the sales. I was a part of a development for suppliers, and having a good relationship with suppliers is incredibly important. And leveraging co-op and supplier relations is another one. And then I'm out of topics, guys. So I'm gonna need some recommendations soon. Just saying. Anything. I'm gonna get spookier too. So this is Beetlejuice. In case you're curious about my sweatshirt, it says I only have eyes for you. My husband got this for me for Valentine's Day, but Valentine's. But I will have a spooky shirt on. now until our lovely Halloween. I will let y'all know though, I'm not going to do this Halloween night. So we've got about 3 more weeks and then we'll take a 1 week break because Halloween is my Christmas. But maybe I'll do it a different night that week because I'm in town. I just might not be able to do Thursday because of Halloween. I think everyone will be understanding to that. So maybe I'll do like Wednesday instead. We'll figure it out. But all right, guys, it doesn't seem like we have any questions. It's 8 o'clock. I love all your energy. I love spending Thursdays with you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful fall weekend. And I will see you next week for training and all that good stuff. Ooh, can we start an accountability group and positive mindset? Anthony, I'm writing it down. I would love to start an accountability group with our host. That would be fabulous. Writing it down. Accountability group and positive mindset. Oh, don't tempt me with a good time. You got to help me invite people, Anthony. That's the thing. We got to get people on board. All right, everybody. I'm going to let it go because it's 8:01 and I will see you all next Thursday. Bye.